That is right, my friends. That's right. That's right. We got 24 seconds live with Morpheus on Could Be. Matthew Connolly, greetings from Germany. Good to see you, my friend. Great to see you. I tell you what, we have some really exciting things today. We really, really do. I couldn't be more excited. For a couple of simple reasons. One, first and foremost, it's a live call-in Friday. Yes, indeed. Fail Fast Friday today. You got the chance. You got the chance to call in live. We want to hear your stories of how failure has propelled you to success. Yeah, we're not afraid of failure here with Morpheus, your strategic innovation team, nested right out of the Strategic Studies group of the Vice Chief of Staff's office. Good to be with you. And I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, today I literally mean this. It's live call-in. Right now, you can call live wherever you're watching, 580-366-1484. Love to have you, your stories of how failure has brought you success in the future, because we got to embrace it. My friends, we got to embrace it. We can't be afraid of just constantly making mistakes. We can't be afraid of that. We've got to embrace it. And this is what we love celebrating on Fail Fast Friday is that things happen. Glenn McDaniel, what's going on? We are talking how failure propels us to success right here on Fail Fast Friday. If you're tuning in, whether it's my personal social media or if you're on one of the Morpheus channels, we are talking about Air Force innovation and how the process of succeeding is not always, the pathway is not always perfect. It's not always perfect because sometimes failure is some of the greatest teachers we can have. So right now, literally, you can call 580-366-1484. Want to hear your stories, innovation across the Air Force innovation ecosystem of how you have been growing something, taking a project, growing, working, and maybe things didn't go like you thought they were going to go. And maybe, just maybe, they kind of fell apart. Well, guess what? Those moments teach you lessons that are invaluable. I mean, they're the greatest lessons of value that we can have. So we want to hear that from you right now, literally, as you can see right there, 580-366-1484. If you're local in the United States, it's a local call. I believe possibly it's a long distance. Is this broadcast of Indy 500 Fast Friday? No, it's not. Very close though. And we're talking Fail Fast Friday, meaning we love failure. We're not afraid of it. That was one of the comments that we just had. But while we're doing that, the phone line is open, waiting for you to be able to call in. If you are so interested, we love. Listen, we don't bite here at Morpheus. We really don't. So don't be afraid. You don't gotta hesitate on that. Don't be fearful about that in any way. But while we're having the phone lines open up, there's something that I wanted to share with you that I thought was really, really awesome. In case you didn't know, this last week I was personally, we took vacation, went down to Disney. It was awesome. First time we'd been there at Disney. First time I had been there before. One of the things that really amazed me just about Disney World, and I know you're saying, Kidsley, we're talking Air Force innovation. Like, why are you talking about Disney right now? Because this is why. You want to talk about one of the most innovative cultures from the ground up. Disneyland is one of them. Didn't realize that, never been there before, but I can't get off the soapbox for this reason. Disneyland, clearly, Disney World, sorry. We were at Disney World. I realized Disneyland is the original. But we were there. It was awesome. The Jordan kids absolutely loved it. As you can tell, they did this as soon as we told them that we were going. Yes, thank you. My children applauded. They truly loved it. But one of the things about Disney specifically is it's so innovative. It's so creative. They think so intelligently and so deeply about how do you actually take this idea. Here, this is a prime example right here. Hold on, we got our first call coming in. How do you take this example right here? Boom. If you can dream it, you can do it. Walt Disney's example. If you can dream it, you can do it. How do you take that and turn that literally into something that is useful and good? We get our first caller. Is this Matt? Is this Matthew? Matthew, go for it, buddy.
Matthew Connolly.
Oh yeah. We're gonna take it.
Press 1.
Except press 1. Oh no, Matthew, call us back. That's all you got to do. So right here, how do you take that idea? How do you bring that idea to the forefront? And I got this clip from one of the Imagineers that's really awesome. Hold on, Matthew, are you there?
Check 1, 2, DJ Matty Ice on tap, rocking and rolling with you guys here on the Morpheus channel.
DJ Matty Ice, I love it. Dude, thanks for calling in live, Morpheus. This is so awesome. Man, I know you got stories for days, Broham. In case you didn't know, he was on, you can go back and watch the awesome podcast we had, the Disruptive AF podcast that we had right there with Matthew gosh, it was Arkwater, talking Arkwater, which was truly, truly amazing. But dude, welcome to the show. So glad to have you live. I know you got stories on failures for days. Take it away, my brother.
Oh my goodness! So where to even begin? So in the world that is innovation in our United States Air Force, and I would venture to say that probably 90% of the projects that I do as the innovation manager fail for one reason or another. And now failures is a harsh word, but it's more like fail, freeze, or fade is more like it.
Ooh, that's good.
And when we say fail, that means like there's not a lot to the project, which means it's not really strategically aligned.
Yeah.
When we say freeze, it usually means something to the effect of there's no money, the ask is a little too large, nobody really wants to bite off of it on the leadership side.
Yeah.
And then you also have fade, which is our colleagues are PCSing, the team disbands. There's a whole bunch of silliness that's going on there. But yeah, there's I've done about 40 projects so far over here at Spangdahlem, and then quite a lot of them, it's like we get this huge burst of energy in the beginning. Yeah. Everyone's really excited. They want to go out there. They want to change the Air Force. And then reality hits us in the face, and it's like, oh my goodness, I guess it's not that easy to change the Air Force, is it? You know? So.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that point is absolutely stellar, because when you think about it, like, I literally had a phone call today. I was talking to our fearless leader of the Morpheus team, and he said something that really stood out to me that I really had to remember. He said, you got to keep in mind is that in order for us to be able to remain the strong force that we are as the Air Force, even as the Department of Defense, in order for us to remain strong, stable, dependable, to answer our nation's call at any moment, you have to keep in mind that stability oftentimes has to be founded upon a foundation that isn't easily moved. And so many times, as an early, I'd say, innovation-minded person, Matthew, I almost had this zealousness of saying, "Oh my gosh, like we've got to do this." But he reminded me in that conversation that stability brings the ability to bring things to light and then have them stay for an extended amount of time. So even though I get frustrated at times that maybe things aren't moving as fast as I want to, or that I want them to move differently, he said that stability brings the ability to keep things long term, and that was something that I kept in my mind. So knowing that, and I know you have a ton of experience in this, knowing that, how is it that we keep that motivation, that drive to say, you know what, like I know this is going to be a long haul on some of these projects, and I know that maybe they're going to fail, but how do you keep that motivation of saying, listen, we just have to keep a marathon mindset. It's not just a sprint every day, but we got to keep trudging, driving forward, driving that innovation stake, that research, that development mindset, that solution mindset. How do you keep on driving forward? I mean, that's a real discussion in the innovation space. How do you stay motivated, Matthew?
Well, that's a really good question, Trigger. So in my experience, innovation is a contact sport, which means that we have to constantly follow up and follow up and follow up, and then keep individuals interested, engaged. And I think a lot of it depends on us as innovation managers to generate a little bit of activity in the connection space. All right, so we're connecting things together, and that we're active. And the part of that actually comes from, if we look at the origin of Air Force continual process improvement and Air Force innovation, a lot of it stems from the Toyota production system. And there's a really good book by Jeffrey Leiker called The Toyota Way. And inside this book, which was published around 2004, inside this book, they talk about how they create culture. And it's a very long-term, like you mentioned, it is a marathon kind of deal. And so what I like to do over here is I like to very heavily engage the classroom portion of things, where I invite individuals, come to our events, come to the classroom portion, learn a little bit about what we're doing. And so that way, hopefully the individuals will, because a lot of us innovators in the innovation space, we're kind of like misfits in our AFSCs, right? We don't quite fit in. We want to change. We want to make things better. We don't necessarily want to do things by the book, because the book isn't exactly it's not helping us here at this moment, right? We're doing
Yeah.
things in a silly way. And so just understanding that the Air Force has a framework from which we can make things better, I think is very inspiring. And so with all of my students that I have, like I try to keep them engaged as much as possible in the education space.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the projects themselves, that's a little tougher, because when innovation and the regular job compete, what wins? Well, the answer is obvious.
Yeah.
The regular
Yeah.
job wins every single time.
Yeah.
And so that becomes quite a challenge. And so part of that is us as innovation managers, and some of us are lucky enough to be 9 eyes already. It's up to us to be that engagement, to be that hook, to reel those folks in.
Yeah.
A lot of us are self-selected. We self-select. We want to make things better.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a really, really good point. Let me ask this, because I heard this come up last week, actually, just in a conversation no, it was actually earlier this week. This week feels like it's been 2 weeks already. It feels like it's been 2 weeks already.
Yeah.
But when we talk about innovation, rewind the clock we'll say 3 years ago. It's not that innovation is new. The Air Force was birthed out of this innovative mindset. I mean, honestly, if we think about it, but it's not that it's new. It's just that it looks new-ish or newer now, because the age that we live in is no longer the industrial age. Now it's the information age. So how we apply, how we wrap our minds around that, it just looks different. But if I rewind the clock, the first time that I realized that this was an intentional effort, that innovation wasn't accidental, but instead it's very intentional, was about 3 years ago, probably 4 years ago, I guess, when I personally got kind of started in all this. And then I agree with you 1,000,000%. I don't have any more numbers to give you than 1,000,000, maybe 1,000,000,000. I agree with you so much that then it was like, you're an outlier. Like, why are you doing that? You just need to go back to doing your job, and like, that's not your thing. If that needed to be done, they would tell you it needed to be done. But now, it's in the conversation I had earlier this week with somebody, they said, dude, innovation is mainstream. Like, it's a mainstream thing. It's mainstream because now it is a main front talking point for commanders. It's a main effort of meetings. It's a main focus area. Have you seen, in your experience in helping innovators from across the Air Force, because you're over in Germany, literally right now, in helping innovators with this mindset, is this something also that you've seen, this transition from, hey, it's being an outlier, to now it's starting to become a central part of, are we thinking about things correctly? Do we need to think about things differently? How can we best engage? What do we best do?
Well, like anything, we're moving a large organization, so there are growing pains associated. But I would like to think I started doing innovation before it was cool, or just as it was starting to get cool, But it is true that I have seen a difference and a shift. Like right now, we're actually talking about beefing up the innovation office from a one-person gig that's an out-of-hide position to something that's fully funded and staffed with a budget. And so that means, like, hey, look, you know what? We're actually witnessing the birth of a career field. Like, as weird as that sounds, because I think commanders are realizing, leadership in general is realizing that this is a low-cost force multiplier. All it is an application of cognition to problem solving. And oh my goodness, are the benefits crazy? Yeah. And what's crazy too is that so much of our problems are esoteric, which means that they are specific and only understood by a small number of individuals. And those are the individuals at the work centers. And so those individuals at the work centers don't necessarily know how to communicate leadership, like leadership speak. And so it's up to us as innovation managers to translate all of that kind of stuff. And then right now, our Air Force, I believe it's major graded area. You can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but it's major graded area 3.2, which is a commitment to continuous improvement. Right? Yeah. Commanders are now graded on how well they improve their units. Right? Yeah. So of course, we need to pay attention to this thing, and finally, there's a little bit more traction. But like everything in the beginning, right? It's slow, but then the snowball starts to build. Yeah. And then hopefully, who knows how the Air Force is going to look like 10 years down the line when this stuff is mainstream. Yeah. Like super mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that part of this growth, I hear that sometimes people are getting a little bit frustrating because those who want things very well laid out and methodical, and hey, here's the AFI that says this is exactly how you do it, they don't have that information. Those who like to approach more from this video clip that we're going to have coming up here in a little bit from one of the Imagineers, Bob Gurr from Disney, one of the original Imagineers, he talks about being a free thinker. Don't put any rigidity on it at all. Get rid of process, destroy process, because you shouldn't have it. And you have at times these two polar opposites. But to me, this is the awesomeness of how we know that. To me, I think we're headed in the right direction, is because you do have this dynamic engagement between what I'd say is the free innovation thinkers of saying, no, man, don't put any bounds on it. And then you have the other side of saying, hey, we need process to be able to secure this and make sure it's going to stay around for a while. To me, that's the hope, that you do have sometimes this clash. And I think out of that clash, that's where we really, really start getting growth in the future. And where it's going to sort out, I don't honestly know. I don't even know if I'm going to be around here long. And I don't know if does it take 2 years? Does it take 5 years? Does it take 20 years? I don't know. But what to me, the bright side, especially here talking Fail Fast Friday, is that the process, that engagement, that clashing is good. Like, it's good. It truly does sift out and leave us with, I think, the best results that we could possibly ask for, as long as we have that healthy tension, as the vice chief talked about. I don't know. I think it was an innovation. It was one of the release letters that he'd sent out. I want to say it was 2 months ago, where it talks about the tension between mission and innovation. Great letter. It's there on Morpheus. You can go look at it. It was one of the blog posts that was released, one of the articles, which was I think really, really cool. Hey, brother, dude, we got another call coming in here in just a little bit. But any parting shots for you? And then I want to be able to get to this Imagineer clip with Bob Gurr talking about that mindset, that thought, the process. What is it?
God.
What is it that you would give as a kind of parting shot to our friends out there?
And do not aim for a zero metric. Do not aim for 100% of something or zero of something. That is a recipe for failure. And so I guess I'll leave it at that for right now. However, maybe in a future podcast, I will be back on to explain it in high resolution.
So high resolution. Matthew Connolly right there. Thanks for joining us, brother. Truly appreciate it. And again, always welcome as a friend of Morpheus and a fellow host here. Truly, truly so glad to have you. We are going to go over to this clip from Bob Gurr because I think it's important. Matthew, we'll catch you later, friend. Thanks so much. You know, as we talk about this clip from Bob Gurr, he's talking specifically about how they made the monorail. And I know bear with me because it's going to go through. Who was at a talks at Disney. But as we bring this up, I want you to be able to listen to and see kind of the mindset of what they talk about and how they talk about that and what that looks like. He's going to be talking specifically about the monorail, but the process that they use, the mindset that they have is just absolutely awesome. Here we go. Headed over to that clip right now for you to be able to watch it. Enjoy. This is from, all credit goes to Talks Disney. I don't own the rights to this. We're just sharing it, and we're happy to give them this because it's exclusive from Disney Talks. Here it is. Oh, can I hit it?
The development audio animatronics. So it's much more productionized now.
Yeah. So can you talk about the design of the monorail, which is just a huge feature, and it's still around, Disneyland and Disney World today?
How many of you ever rode the Disneyland monorail? Oh, all the hands go up. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. I had never seen that configuration of a monorail. And going back the way Walt asked somebody to do something, he walks in October 1958, walks in, shows me these pictures of a really ugly looking train sitting on looked like a loaf of bread with a slot in the bottom sitting on a stick. And he says, Bobby, we're gonna build a monorail system in Disneyland. I want you to get started right away on it. And walked out of the room and left me these pictures of this ugly thing. And I'd never seen that configuration. I thought they always hung, from an overhead beam. And again, there you are. We're sitting here like that wasn't even a meeting. Well, I'm going to start. And guess what? If you are a curious person and you've spent all your time snooping into everything you can snoop into and putting it on your head, and you may never use it, but you might use it someday. And remember, I go back to auto shop, car kid, all that kind of stuff, hanging around with race cars. I had a broad brush idea of how stuff sort of works. A monorail is nothing more than a strange looking bus the wheels are simply in line. They sit on top of the road, and then there's wheels running on the side. But they've still got seats, doors, and windows, and people sitting in it. Okay, it's like a streetcar. Oh, well, you can buy that stuff, you know. It's 600-volt power systems. You put 450-volt motors together. And a suspension system. I knew how these gravel trucks worked. At that time, there was a thing called a Smithway, which was kind of an all-in-one unitized suspension. And within 2 weeks, I had enough drawings that I made that my boss and I were sent over to Germany to talk to the Allweg company who we were going to work with. And I had enough of the design that we could discuss it in a lot of detail. And then the Germans knew that they were going to sell their design to us. And Walt said, no, we're going to use your idea, but it's going to be my train, and we're going to do it ourselves. And then at the end of the week, it was, Mr. Gore is not a licensed diploma engineer. He cannot do this. You're a movie studio. Well, yeah, but I'm doing it. True story. Now, that's how fast we would work. Now, remember, that was 8.5 months from the time Walt gave me the picture, and we jumped on a thing, and I had about 5 drafters helping me, and we figured the whole darn thing out, and we had a shop starting to build it, and a commercial company that built garbage trucks. That was closed. Halfway through the job, they were going too slow, so we just picked the job up, put it in the studio. So we had a big sound stage, which was a factory. So my boss said, keep drawing it up, but now you supervise the construction. 8.5 months, the whole darn thing, and opening day, I gave Richard Nixon, the Vice President of the United States, a ride on it. No estimating, no budgeting, nobody interfering, no project manager, no coordinators. Everybody doing the work talked to everybody all day long. Everybody from the shop level, the people doing the concrete designs. That's how fast you can go if you're a completely free thinker and you've been given something you don't know nothing about. And everybody at the WID was just like that.
Okay, that is oh my gosh. When you think about that. Now, I know some people are going to listen to this and they're going to say, Trigger, how in the world, like, what are you talking about? That's not the way that things work right now. The reason why I play this clip on Fail Fast Friday is because a little bit later, which we're not going to be able to play now because we got an awesome caller with us right now, Dakota Belcher from Luke Air Force Base. Is going to be hopping on here in just a second. But when you play a little bit later in the clip, he talks about the 8.5 month span of this free thinking and not putting bounds on it and just seeing what was possible. But he also talked about the importance of that constant communication, the communication of the team, that the Imagineers, the creative minded people were talking to the engineers, and the engineers were talking to the leaders, and the leaders were talking to the welders, and Walt Disney would just walk in the middle of everything and say, hey guys, what's going on? But there's a book that specifically talks about this that I think is really awesome. It's called Culture Code by Daniel Coyle, and it talks about social collisions. The more social collisions you can have in this innovation environment, literally the better the team operates. And in that book, it specifically talks about an example that NASA did a study of the teams kind of during the space era, you know, after we went to the moon, 70s that followed after that, 70s and 80s, of the teams of NASA engineers that succeeded the most. And what they found out is those who succeeded the most were ones that worked in the same literal physical space within a 7 meter distance or 7-yard distance. And if they worked within that space, and the reason is because there was a lot of these social collisions or creative collisions that take place. The more that you're engaging, the more that you're working on this process, the more type of engagement that you have, just like Bob Gurr was talking about in this innovation process, the better it's going to do. And this is why I bring this up on a Fail Fast Friday, is because there was a lot of failures that took place in that process of building the Disney monorail. There was a lot of failures. I mean, there were. Over the course of 8 months, they tried this, and that didn't work. It was that didn't work. Well, we got to try this instead. Or in this process of building it up, even until the last minute, you saw until they had the Vice President of the United States there. It was the first time. A little bit later in that video, it talks about that the first time it literally ran the full monorail distance was the night before, and the night before. Now, I'm not suggesting that in the Air Force and Space Force innovation ecosystem that we wait until the day before it's presented to, you know, operational necessity or whatever general is going to sign off and approve it. But what I am saying is that these components that Bob Gurr talked about are really, really important, of that constant communication, these creative collisions that need to take place. The basis of this, of Daniel Coyle, of what he suggests in that book of Culture Code, of saying the more that you have that working together, the more often you're able to have those failures, but then rapidly recover from them and then grow forward in that next step. So we're going to go to our call real quick right here. Dakota, what is going on, my friend? You are live with us right now on Morpheus. Good to have you. Mic check. Are you there?
Yeah, Trigger, I'm here.
Oh, buddy. So glad to have you. Man, I know you got a story as well. Take it away. Take it away. What do you got to share today?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Fail Fast Friday is the key to this right now. So,
Yeah.
Our Spark Hill here at Luke, we help out every single airman that walks into the door. So it's constant, no matter what. We can't say no. We're not allowed to say no. That's our policy.
Right.
So we've had a couple of innovation efforts recently that, we take off with them, and then we start moving, and then everybody starts to come to a halt a little bit. And it can be a little bit frustrating, but we had one particular where we had the idea, we rapidly prototyped real quick, we tested it out, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, cool. Well, what do we do from here? The guy that had the idea, he was pretty disheartened, right? He wanted to, kind of give up on it. And I was like, hold on now. Come back into the Spark Cell. We got plenty of whiteboards. Like, let's figure this out. Let's draw it out. Let's try to move forward with it, not just give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't really understand the reason why, but I was like, well, it's our responsibility. And I elaborated a little bit more, saying, responsibility is a two-part word. Our response to our ability to do something. Let's go do this. Let's kick butt at this.
Oh, shoot. Can you say that again? Response to our ability? What?
Yeah.
How have I never heard this before? Wait, what? Say it again. That was too good. We got to say it. Say that again.
It's a two-part word. So it's our response to our ability. So like every single day when I show up to work because it's my response to my ability to show up.
That's like an epiphany right there. You like that? You get that sound effect. That's you get the epiphany of Fail Fast Friday. It's our responsibility is the response to our ability. I don't know why that just blew my mind. It did. Simple pilot mind. I keep going, man. That's awesome. Okay. That's awesome.
So yeah, he came back in. We drew it out on the whiteboards, and then worked with some other people, and then took what pieces specifically failed, and then built a new prototype, and then everything worked out fine. It's working great. Our MXG commander loves it. And it's pretty awesome to watch that we just didn't give up on it. But you have to have that failure in order to understand what was wrong to be able to improve on the product that you're trying to develop.
Oh my gosh, dude. This is the chat right now on my screen is blowing up. Kelly Palmer, I'll throw this up there. She says, it's fire. Kelly says, it's fire. This is awesome. Yes, dude. I completely couldn't agree more with you. You literally can't plan this stuff. Like I said, it's live. If you're watching this later, this is not planned. Literally, we just get phone calls like this which actually this is the first week we've done the live phone call. Dakota, I think it's awesome because you tell the story literally right here. But this is why we talk about Fail Fast Friday is that encouragement that you gave to that airman. So what, if I can ask you this, knowing that now you see, hey, you pushed through it, like you had that initial failure, the airman wanted to quit, wanted to be able to say, now it's not going to do, you encouraged them to take that next step. Now you got leadership on board in it. What is that airman's mentality now? And kind of what is that, where are they at now? And what do you think, just from your perspective, your experience, that means for them in the future? After you push through that failure.
Yeah, so his mindset has completely shifted. Just in speaking with him from time to time, he had kind of like a negative attitude after that first failure, right? But then now it's super positive. And he does speak to other individuals within his unit about, hey, if you have an innovative idea, like come up to the Spark Cell, they will help you.
Yeah.
which then only increases, you know, our network out at Luke Air Force Base.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty sweet watching his mindset change to be a more positive type of thinker, and then be able to just go out there and crush it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so incredibly cool, man. So incredibly cool. Josh Nash says, glad to hear Dakota is crushing it. Target that value to them. Key stakeholders, my friend. That's awesome. That's awesome. So incredibly good, man. So what is the next step on that project? You said that the MSG commander loves it. So where are you at now with it, and kind of what are you thinking moving forward?
So moving forward, we're working with National Security Innovation Network to be able to have
Nice.
Project X-Force out here. So we're going to have 3 interns for the summer. Once we have the final completed project, just because there's some small, minute things that we want to do with it, then that's when we're going to take it to Garrett Custins at AFWorks and try to get it into the incubator, and try to scale it out across the Air Force. And then I'll also talk with Josh Nash about it up at Eielson as well, so that we can maybe scale it across other same MDS specific aircraft. So
That's awesome. That is incredibly awesome. If you're listening to this, it sounds like can you say, is this maintenance and based? Is this logistics and based? Just in case there's other units out there that hear this and say, man, I'm curious. Like, I want to know what's going on. Maybe we want to get the goodness. Can you say kind of what that is as much as you can share, so we can point them your direction?
Yeah, it's maintenance based. It's a aircraft engine trailer laser alignment tool.
Oh, shoot.
So traditionally it used to take about 8 hours to align these trailers for F-35 aircraft. And then now with our second iteration that we have thus far, it takes somewhere around 30 minutes to align the trailer to the aircraft.
What? Dude, what? Wait a minute. Did you say 8 hours before?
Yeah, 8 hours.
You're saying this thing saves 7.5 hours.
Correct. Yeah.
Man and woman hours right there of say 7.5 hours of the time of the people that are our greatest weapon system in the Air Force, the brilliant minds of the people that do do the amazing work of keeping our weapon system going, saving 7.5 hours. That's amazing, man. How often? That's not nothing. That's massive. That's a full. You're saving literally a full day.
Yeah. It's 8 hours on average, right? Like sometimes it takes more, sometimes it takes less. It's just incredibly difficult because of the close tolerances that are needed to be able to align the trailer to the aircraft.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely alleviates a lot of frustration from the airmen as well, because you think you have the trailer aligned, you back it back out because it isn't, and then you try again, and then you end up hitting the same exact roadblock. So it definitely alleviates that pain, which is the part that I think I care about the most. Not necessarily the man hours saved, all that stuff, but like if I can keep an airman from being frustrated with their job and have more satisfaction in their job, absolutely, I'll do that all day, every day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man, that's amazing. You know what? You get one of these. You get one of these little guys right there. Applause. The audience is going wild. Dave, our studio producer, Dave, he's just applauding over there in the section. I had to mute him so you couldn't see him, but he, because that's truly how awesome it is, man. That's truly awesome, and that really, honestly, man, that is the heart of what Fail Fast Friday is because what would happen? Just think of that. What would happen if you had not pushed through that failure and allowed that to propel? If you had not encouraged that airman to keep going, to keep moving. Listen, we're not going to stop here. I know it didn't work the first time, but we're going to keep pushing through. If you'd not done that, there is some airman out there that is literally going to get time back to do what they do best. They're going to get 7.5 hours every time they're going to get that time back to do the next thing, to let them focus on excellence again. Man, that's amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing. So if people want to get a hold of you, Dakota Belcher, right there, Sparks Elf from Luke Air Force Base. I tell you what, on the comment section, if you wouldn't mind, man, just throw the comment on there. Hey, I talked about this, so then we can go back. They can go back and find you. If you have, if that sounds familiar, if that's an issue that sounds familiar to you, reach out to Dakota. Is that all right, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that wants to reach out to me, please do. I'll share all the information that we have.
Good. So incredibly good. So incredibly good. Dakota, man, you have an awesome weekend, awesome Friday. Thanks so much for joining us. Tell your friends, have them follow along with us, because we're going to do one live session each month for the live call, and we want to hear the updates just like this. So here next month, June, man, make sure that you mark your calendar to it so you can hop on and give us the update of where you're at and what's going on and the greatness there of what's happening on at Luke. Dakota, thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey.
Dude, we'll see you later. Talk about wins. What? Are you serious? This is literally what Morpheus, what Freestyle Friday, what Fail Fast Friday is all about. Right here, sharing those wins, exactly like you heard. Matthew, going back, just really quick recap. When you look at what's that video clip was that we talked about earlier with Bob Gurr, the Imagineer from Disney, and going through of building out the monorail system and the amount of failures that they had. And then we have a call. It's like I swear we didn't plan that. Then we have a call, literally, from somebody out there doing the good Lord's work of encouraging airmen, walking through problems, challenges. Dakota calls in from Luke Air Force Base, gives an example just like that there was a failure. They wanted to quit. They pushed, the airmen got frustrated, wanted to push through. And the result of it is there is time being saved, efficiency being created, effectiveness just saturating that maintenance area, a work area right there, all because somebody made the decision of, listen, we're not going to stop. We got to keep going. And that really, my friends, that is the heart of what Fail Fast Friday literally is all about. Joseph Anger, and also another great person there from Luke Air Force Base, giving him some shout out to his teammate there. Joseph, good to see you, man. Thanks so much for your support as well. Friends, this has been awesome. 38 minutes of just raw awesomeness right here. Morpheus Fail Fast Friday. I hope you have enjoyed that. If you've enjoyed this, I'm going to challenge you with this. If you have enjoyed this, share this literally right now. Share it. Tell people the goodness of, listen, the innovators out there have somewhere to go to be loved and encouraged of the good work that they're doing right here with Morpheus on Winning Wednesdays, Fail Fast Fridays, and also the Disruptive AF podcast. In case you don't know, you can go to our team's channel. It's called the Coliseum, because that's where we bring everybody together. The Coliseum, you can just search for it. We can and add yourself to it, and we'll go through and approve it. The Coliseum on Teams, that's on the military Microsoft Teams. You can go there, you can join it, and throw your encouragement out there. Whether you're at work on the computer, whether you're here, join us LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever socially you are, we are Morpheus, your team. And Dakota throws this up there as well. Parting shot right here. We just want you to know. If you want more information, here it is. If you want more information, Dakota says, if anyone has any questions about the innovative stuff, effort we mentioned earlier, feel free to contact him right there, Dakota Belcher. And I'm going to throw this up there as well, just so we can see, everybody can see where Dakota is, because here it is. If I can, let me get to it. Hold on. Because we want to make sure that we are able to share what those are. Here it is, Dakota Belcher. There he is, right there. Bada boom. This is the guy that you want to contact. You can't see it. Now you can see it. There it is, Dakota Belcher. Right there, 58th Fighter Wing Spark Cell. You can contact him. That's the guy, so you don't miss it. Dakota, I hope that's all right that I threw it out there. If not, you can hate me for it. But right here, Fail Fast Friday, friends. Thanks for joining. Truly, it's been a blast. I'm looking at the wrong camera, Dave. My bad. There we are. Too much fun. Listen, stay encouraged. Keep on innovating. You can do it. We are literally changing the United States Air Force's Space Force each and every day because of great people just like you. Don't stop, my friends. We will see you next week, Winning Wednesday, and we'll also keep looking, because Disruptive AF Podcast, new release coming out next Tuesday, as it always does. Enjoy, my friends. We will see you later. Checking out Trigger Time right here on Fail Fast Friday. My friends, thanks for joining. Keep innovating. We can do it. Changing the world one step at a time. See ya.